Bubba and Annie, here we are. And my name's Annie Jones.
And my name's Bubba.
We are here to track the musical progression of our journey, all things Bubba and Annie. Tell me about you. Tell me what is the most boring thing about yourself.
The most boring thing about myself is that I've got a cleaning addiction.
That's so boring.
It is so boring.
Out of all the times I've ever asked that question to anybody, usually they come up with something actually interesting. Well done, you've won the prize.
Oh, thanks. Does that mean I get the award then?
Yeah, I think so.
I get the award then for the most boring thing. I don't think it's boring, but everyone's different thing, isn't it? What's the most boring thing about you then?
The most boring thing about me is that I'm like one of those girls one of the characters in the Taylor Swift songs where she just sat in a coffee shop. She could be anywhere in the world. But all I really want to do is sit on a street corner with a coffee and a book and watch the world go by.
But that sounds incredible. That doesn't sound boring.
I don't know.
Self-thanks, yeah. Just self-thanks. I win the bleeding award then for
You win.
A boring thing. Yeah. Thanks. I'll take that one on the chin. So any of my cleaning addicts out there, put in the comments that yes, we should win the award for being clean.
Yeah, this is the Bubba and Annie show. Woohoo! And so we're here to talk about all things creative to do with the development of Bubba and Annie. So I would like to ask you a question, actually. Another one. So this one is, what makes the project that you're doing right now with Bubba and Annie different to all of your past projects?
What makes it different from them before? Because it was something that was so natural and so it wasn't like a forced thing. It was a genuine friends who've known each other for a long time, like we have. We just got talking about music and stuff like that, and it's kind of developed into something that's now Bubba and Annie, and we just been working, and it hasn't felt like it's been work. I feel like I've been writing songs with you to save my own life as we've gone and doing our healing journeys that we've been going on. And it's different than before because I feel like I never wrote songs for me. So I was writing songs for other people, and like a lot of artists do. A lot of artists get into the mindset as, oh, well, audiences love this style of song from me, so I'm just going to keep writing songs like that, even if it's not my stories. But every song that we've done together and our things that we're doing, our project, everything is from my heart, and everything's been a situation I've been in or I'm currently dealing with. So I cannot be more raw and real in the music that we've done. So that's why it's different, because I loved all of the projects I've done before, but I feel like this is quintessentially me.
Going further into this question, what have you updated and done differently, or just focused more on in this project that you wish you'd focused more on in the past?
Two things, and I think you'll know this because we have our lengthy conversations. One, with the style of music that we're doing, you cannot hide behind lyrics in terms of you cannot be lazy with melodies, you cannot be lazy with your voice, and you cannot be lazy with your lyrics. So this time I really dived into the lyrics and how I use my voice. I think about it differently now, and I sing on records differently than I've ever done before. So I've updated the way I sing on records. I've done a lot of recording over the last 18 months.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me now, I listen to the records and I go, I cannot believe that's us. I listen to the records now and I can't believe that. I don't think it's us. I don't think it's me. I'm genuinely love every part of my voice that's on the record. Now become incredibly proud of my voice instead of hiding it.
That's so lovely. In my journey, I think there's been some kind of mirrors with people that I've met, that church music and hymns. And I know we talked about this on the phone the other day, but a collaboration I'm not doing at the moment, but we did. We were just jamming through lots of old songs, and he's a piano player. And he's in his 70s, so he's travelled the world playing music. And he's a proper church person and sings so well, so many different genres. He's a songwriter. But it was like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing that we did together on stage. And because it was so churchy. And this guy, lifted my soul, like playing with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really enjoy playing with him, but it's not, for me, it's not about the money, but it definitely lifted my soul to work with this person. Help me with like the music that we're doing together.
I feel like there's a lot of church music because we come from that background. Our conversations over the last week, we've been singing "Sing Hosanna" to the King of Kings. But I feel like we've been having those conversations, and when you listen back to some of the records, it really does give you that element. And I feel like if you didn't do that with your other collaborator, you wouldn't be able to fully embrace that on this collaboration.
Perhaps not. Perhaps not. I think that everything works towards it, but I think that because I'm already in that direction, it's already something that's just in my environment as like a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I probably would still. I do think that this person helped me spiritually, though. It wasn't just. It was the fact that we'd talk about scripture because he's Jewish, and my background is like Church of England, Roman Catholic as well. But I never pursued my religion. I guess I come across as like a confused Christian where we're like, I'm an atheist, and then people say, I don't believe you. You're not an atheist, you like and but yeah, just maybe sometimes going through the scripture and then singing the songs together. Not necessarily church songs, but the way that we perform the songs were churchy. Like for instance, Dock of the Bay. I really wanted to sing that song with him. And I dissected it and I learned it inside out. And I was like, yeah, I can't wait to do this song with you. And he said, do you know the reason why I don't want to do this song? And he explained, he didn't say it like that when he first started talking about the reasons why I didn't want to do the song. But he said, this song is about someone giving up. Someone's giving up. They're on the dock of the bay. They don't know where they're going next. In fact, that they don't want to go anywhere. They've given up. And he said, I don't want to sing this song. Like, because this is what it means. I can't get past it. And I was like, oh, perhaps maybe I'll just be unintentionally, accidentally calling upon the wrong vibe in my own life, now knowing what that song truly means. It is a gift, that song, you know. And
no, it's an incredible song. I've sang it before. It's an incredible song.
I know it inside out. And like, look, nothing's gonna come my way. Everything remains the same. And I was like, I can't wait to sing this song with him. And he's like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I was like, no,
I'm not doing it.
I want to do this song. No, I can't do it.
It's like, I'm not doing it.
But, you know, this is what happens when you collaborate with people. You've got to compromise. So that's a big thing. But you got to think about where the compromising is going to lead you. You know, you're doing something alone versus collaborating. What's your stance on that?
It's different with me and you. Very, very different with what we've been doing and then different from other projects. Our compromise, I think, comes because we have a clear goal of what the vision is.
Yeah.
As record label owners ourselves, like our record label, we have different conversations that are not just artists or band members conversations. We have label conversations. Label executives would have in terms of how we're going to compromise this so it gets a bigger attention or bigger eyes. So that's not compromising the integrity, that's not compromising lyrical ability, vocal ability, but we have a clear vision of where we want to be and where we're going and what we want to say. I don't feel like I've compromised anything I wanted to say or do musically or vision-wise because I'm so open to collaboration. So if you say to me, oh, I don't like that song, I'm not feeling that song at the moment, to me that in my head is, what would I say?
You'd say, that's okay.
Let's put a pin in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean just because it's not for right now that it's not going to be okay. Because we'll be different artists next year.
Yeah, go for no. Number one rule in business.
What do you think on that stance of that?
I think there's always like compromise in everything, but like small compromises are good in any relationship. Big compromises, no.
Compromises for the bigger good, for the bigger picture.
Yeah, compromises for the bigger picture. Because we're building the stuff, I feel like there's not really that many big decisions to make right now. There's big things to consider, actual big decisions not at the moment. Of course, further down, even towards the end of the project, then there'll be like big decisions to make.
No, but I feel like that's a perfect position to be in, because what that means is the more we do it, and I say this to you all the time, the more we spend time on it, we spend every week on it, most days on it, it means is that we're constantly niching it, and we're constantly building it, and we're constantly creating something. So what that means is that then we have an A3 piece of paper of what we're about and what we want to do as Bubba and Annie. So then when the bigger decisions are made, automatically in our head we're like, well, would Bubba and Annie do this? So then we're thinking of ourselves within the project. So we're kind of like seeing ourselves from outside of it, which is a good position to be in, because if it was happening so quickly now and trying to figure that out, that's when mistakes can happen and costly mistakes can happen. But right at this moment in time, we haven't got a record out or a song out. So I feel like we're in the best position because we spent a long time making the stuff and doing what we've been doing, but it means we can decide and we don't need to rush into these things. And then when the next opportunity does come up, we already know our yeses and nos and what we're willing to do and not willing to do, and not willing to compromise and are willing to compromise on.
Yeah.
Because we already have a good foundation.
Yeah, it depends what we're going to get in return, what we want. And in order to know what we want to get in return, we need to know where we're going. Like, what are we? Who are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have those open conversations.
Yeah. What can we deliver as Bubba and Annie? And what all these conversations that we've talked about. So ahead of the game. So yeah, I think you put that really well. Risk assessments, that it eliminates so much risk. What do usual business people do that don't work in the industry? Of course, they think about things before they go into a big meeting with investors or partners.
Well, you've got to know your limitations. Like, I've been in the boardrooms, I've been in those meetings where you're being discussed as a product. I genuinely really have. Like, and it's a hard concept because a lot of artists that haven't been signed to a record label don't know the ins and the outs of how you are then treated like a product. So you have to go in there with your plan. You have to know your limitations and what you're providing for. If you've gone into a record label and you want to be, and you get signed as a dance music artist,
yeah,
you can't get to the record label and then 7-8 months later then complain that you want to release a rock song, because the record label's not set. The record label infrastructure is not set up for them to release a rock song. Essentially, shut your mouth. Fulfill your contract, and then if that's something that you want to do, you work on that in your free time. Don't make it the dance record label's problem that you want to change genres.
Yes, because they're not set up for that kind of music. They don't have the infrastructure, the contacts, the information, the training, the information, the
blueprint.
Yeah,
they haven't got a blueprint of how to release a rock artist on a dance record label. Otherwise, if they knew you were going to do that, maybe that's something that, then again, because you've done the development time before you've even released the record, maybe that's something that you should have discussed with them when you had the initial meetings. Go, okay, I'm going to be doing this for 2 years with you. And then after that, in the meantime, I'm going to be on my own money, not theirs. On my own money, I'm going to be developing this project. Hopefully, we can still work together in the future. You know, you have to be very open and honest. Don't get to a record label and expect them to do every single thing for you. I've walked into a record deal before and had a 2-year plan. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to this, and they're like, okay.
So when you went in there with the 2-year plan, was that usual for the other artists that were on your label?
That's why they looked at me like, huh? So we haven't had to spend. And basically, you've done their job for them. They've liked your voice. They've seen you perform, or they've liked it, or they've been recommended. That's why you've been asked to go to the meeting and discuss signing with them for whatever time you're signing it with them. Generally, has to happen in that moment is whoever's on the team, the marketing team, or the label people will then look at you as an artist and go, well, how can we brand this person? And what kind of plan can we put together? But if you're going in there and going, well, this is what I want to do. I want to be, for example, we're just using dance music artists. I want to be a dance music artist. I want to release 3, 4, 5, 6 records a year. I want really good quality videos. And I want to be doing PAs in clubs up and down the UK and Europe. You've done the work for them. So all they have to try and do is help facilitate that for you. So that's why when you go into the record things and you go to negotiate, which is a big lesson I've learned, I'm going to go back. But the lesson I've learned is that you have to hold accountable the record label as they hold you accountable. So in the negotiations, should set out goals, or you should be able to have the meetings once a month and go, this is dependent on this. Like, you should go in there and go and be the best person that you can be. Because a lot of times, a lot of record labels will only do so much, and they'll only meet you at a certain point. If you're putting not a lot of energy in, they're not going to put a lot of energy into you.
Yeah, and that's smart within any relationship. Match their effort. That's number one rule of any relationship.
And if you're going in there and you've gone in there with a plan, what does that show to that record label?
It shows that they better scrub up and start figuring out how they can be part of your plan.
Because it's not just, I've got a record deal and I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be the best person in the world. I'm going to travel to America and they're going to do it all for me. I'm like, no, that isn't what's going to happen. That's
what it looks like, though, doesn't it? It looks like
yes, because no one speaks about that. Nobody speaks about that. It's a culture shock to them because they don't know when they get there. You only learn the next set of lessons when you get the record deal, whether that be an independent record deal or a major. Now, when you have a major, there's even bigger problems when you're with a major. But an independent to a major label, like the ones in between, there's still a lot of problems because you have to compromise. All of the effort and the work and hours and tears you spent getting a record deal, do you think that you don't need to do that when you're there? It's even worse. I'm not saying that's to put people off, because having a record deal is very good. It makes you identify your brand and what you are as an artist. And that's why what we've been doing together, everything I've learned from the record label, people, the A&R people, the marketing people, I've put into our record deal.
Yeah.
In our record label, now that I have the knowledge, I'm able to say to you, no, let's just think about it like this. The reason we don't want to do this, the reason you may not want to do this, taking the mick out of a pop track record that we've done, it's our kind of like we're taking the mick out of pop music, but we're not. But because we love pop music, but we did a song like that, and Annie's like, but I knew what she was internally feeling like. This feels like it's shelling out. I'm like, no, because you still need in a record deal. You still need your standard songs that are mainstream. So that are going to be mass appeal songs.
Yeah, and one thing it's a compromise. One thing that I really love is Sabrina Carpenter, because she's got her persona. She did all of her makeup. She's got 2 makeup styles. She's got late night in the kind of rock and roll, like dance kind of makeup style, and then the clean cut, casual makeup style. Like
mainstream.
She's gone straight, and she's just cool. She's just chill. She's relatively herself. She sings the way she wants to sing. She's written what she wants to write in the way that
Has she?
write it. Well, I don't know, like with other people, but the way that she sings. No, she has. She's written a lot of the lyrics of her stuff, or maybe all of them.
Yeah, but it goes back to what we were just saying. Is she now playing the game?
Oh, she's playing a really good game. I want to be her. It's that good of a game. But, I have no idea what she's been through to get to where she is.
She's learned the lessons.
Yeah, maybe she's got no friends because all she does is work on her music. But she's phenomenal. She's beautiful. Like, she is. She
is incredible. But she's probably got to the record deal and quickly learned in the ethos and the world of a record label and how that can be, that I have to play this game now. I have to compromise and get the mainstream songs because that's what's going to get me more attention to then eventually then come back and do what I'm doing, because now she's released a TikTok not that long ago of her singing an R&B song, and everybody's been reposting it and saying that she should do R&B music. We don't know that she may not have got signed to be an R&B artist, but then quickly realised, if I'm a pop music artist, I'll probably get more attention from the record label. And you don't realise those things until you get there.
Yeah, I love the way that she sings. Yeah, maybe she was there thinking, my 5-year plan is going to be, I'm going to come out as a pop artist, but then I'm going to verge a little bit more into R&B. and hang with those people over there because they're my friends and no one realizes. Like, that's my thing. That's my culture, you know?
My advice to that is really learn what your limitations are and have your plan. And that plan can change. Have a plan for every situation that you're going into. If you're going in to be a rock artist, have your rock artist plan. And don't complain to the manager. If you go to the record deal and you sign as a dance music artist, and the record label head and the managers and the A&R people and the marketing people keep constantly, do you think they don't speak? So if you're in the studio constantly complaining you don't want to do this dance song and you want to do another style of music, do you think it doesn't get back to the person who owns a record label?
Yeah, of course it gets.
You're gonna become a problem.
Yeah.
Be quiet. Follow the plan out that you set out. If you go in there with a plan, you know what the plan is. So you know that you just have to be happy executing the plan. Then you can do what you want. I don't know. Maybe that was a big tangent, but I feel like a lot of lessons are learnt once you get a record deal. Then it's good to pass it down because no one passed it down to me until I got one.
You're passing it down to me. Thank you.
I have so many other lessons that are passing information to us and what we're doing. So that's why I always say it's really cool to niche it down and build the brand.
Yeah.
And have everything syncable.
Like a window cleaner, for instance, and you've been employed to, you know, clean the windows of the shop. You're not going to go in and say, oh, actually, I wanted to work on the bar when you're like halfway through the job. You were contracted to do that. Do what you said you were going to do. It's better to over-deliver than under-deliver. So if for instance, much larger projects and much larger signings are something that you wouldn't want to do, then as an artist, maybe you should get contracts where you just sign off an EP and say, this is what I'm comfortable with. I'm very likely going to continue working with you and just renew the contract. This is what I feel comfortable with. Just make those signings instead of much bigger ones. There's really no point doing huge signings. And of course, like that does narrow the pond a little bit. There's going to be less deals that people want to discuss with you because you say, oh, I just want to do 2 EPs, whatever. This is my format and this is what I'm doing at the moment. Then that's fine. You're just going to have to work harder to get the deal that you want. But it's much better to be someone who's known for pitching, I'm going to do a certain thing, and I did it. And then I over-delivered. Or I did exactly what I was going to do. No more, no less. And that's what you were getting. Do you want to re-sign me? Yeah, we kind of like you. But can we kind of increase it this time to, like, you know, a bit more? And then things can be talked about.
Exactly. That's the plan. Because those people have planned it out. Those people have learned from the mistakes. Those people have learned probably the hard way. And, you know, been heartbroken about things, or labels have taken them away, or they've dropped them, or because there's been no plan.
Yeah.
Say for example, if we've got our own record label, if we wanted major distribution, that's what currently we're talking people with, you just sign that project and you go, right, the project's going to be with you for this. You're still keeping major control over it. They've got a bit of control. You're using their infrastructure, you know? It's very multi-layered. A lot of it, everyone thinks it's just as simple as going from where you are to get a record deal. There's many different things and paths you can choose. Whether you want to start your own record label, which is very hard, that comes with knowledge as well. So once you learn all the knowledge, you can probably start your own record label. But there's so many resources now to actually find that information. So I'm happy with what we're doing for this moment. And like we discuss all of the time, when those other things do come, then we make that decision as record label owners of the same record label that we signed ourselves to. So there's no middle people who are trying to get their cut.
It just gets complicated, doesn't it?
It will. And record labels don't want complication. So if you're getting signed and you're taking your EP in for all of the A&R people to listen to, if there's 26 producers that they have to pay off, it's going to be very complicated for them, isn't it?
They're on this. We've got a sign in to say that then they're not going to discuss any further this project. I'm the number one person in charge of this. Here's their signatures, so you know that they're not going to be getting involved. So I guess that's the only way to do it. But that, in reality, though, that's
more work for them.
That's not going to really. That would be like the ideal scenario. I think I understand why, for instance, I got friends that have musical collectives like all over Manchester. At first, like some of the collectives were like more casual. Ultimately, it's the person, the producer, the one who owns all the equipment that pays for the studio, that's in charge.
Yeah.
Of, and that just happens naturally, not even just on paper. It happens because that's the person who's got the power. They've got everything's on their computer. Everyone's going into their space to record and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when you hear people that are part of the collective saying something like, "Oh, we got a grant in to help us with our project," la 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 la, and I didn't hear about any money, or we made some profit into our collective, but I didn't hear about any of the money, about anything to do with it, or having a decision about how the money was used, distributed, or compensated to any of the members. It's like, well, of course not. Like, that's the producer. He's paying for the space. That's all of his equipment. He's there more than everybody else. He's the one with the keys. Like, of course. Like, if there's any money that has come in, of course you're not gonna get a say in it. Like, just because that person's your friend and you're all friends and stuff, and you just think that naturally they're just gonna be like, oh yeah, we had 10 grand. That they're gonna come towards you about this and that and the other. No, of course they're gonna buy a van. They're gonna do whatever they want with it. They're gonna say, oh, I've spent 5 grand on the studio, so I'm gonna give myself that back, plus the money the time that I've spent in the studio recording everybody. So I'm gonna give myself another 4 grand, and then I'm gonna buy a van. Like, of course. Like, come on, mate.
I feel like a lot of people get so disheartened when they realise. I've had experience with this before where other artists have been on in certain situations, and they've rang me up and they realised what I've realised before them, and I've already told them, and they never listened. And then they get so disheartened by it all, and they think that record labels have always got the best interests. No, a record deal is giving you a loan, so they want the loan back. So yes, there is a familiar relationship with them. But if you're breaking the terms of your loan and making it difficult, you will be escorted away. Because there's always 10 people who are going to take your job. There's always 10 other artists who are probably going to work harder than you.
Yeah.
But it's sad because I know a lot of people who are at record labels at the moment, and they're not where they want to be, because it goes back to what we were saying. They changed their mind of what style of music they wanted to do. So now it feels that they're being forced to continue doing the music that the record label has signed them for.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in hindsight it would be get some magical fairy dust out of somewhere and sprinkles it all over the situation and go, okay, I'm going to fly. I'm going to fly my way out of this. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to actually do the work.
Well, you're contracted to do the work.
Yeah.
You have to show up. It's a job.
Yeah.
Yes, it's incredible, and you can celebrate and tell everybody around you that you got a record deal. Incredible. But it's a job.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing going on but the rent. You got to have a job. Having a record deal is a job. You have to show up and do the best you can.
Yeah, and it's much harder
the end of it.
Working in the shop.
Well, it is, because the shop's very easy. You get somebody's giving you somebody wants something off you, and you charge them. But with having a record deal and working in the music industry, is you're working for the future. So we're working 6, 7, 8, 9 months, 10, 12 months in the future. And a lot of people can't understand that. So you're working to get money. So you may be working for 12 months before you even see anything. Or a lot of people don't realise is that when you get your advance from a record deal, all of these things are took off. And apart from your publishing deal, you have to live off your advance. And apart from your show money, if you're not an established artist, you're not going on any shows yet. So you got to live off your advance. So I've known people where they've got £100,000 left out their advance after everything's been took off for marketing and studio and stuff like that. And within a month, 2 months, they have zero. And now they're living off the publishing money, maybe £1,500 a month. So I'm like, well, you should have saved all of that 100,000, didn't you? Because you're only going to get money off your records once that full 500,000 that they gave you is paid. So you're not getting any money for any shows. So now you probably just wasted 3 years worth of money in 2 months. You have to be very smart. As good as you are as a musician to get signed, you have to be as good as a business person. as in the music business. You have to understand contracts. You have to understand all of these things. And people don't realize that. The two things, music, business. The music is all love and creativity and beautifulness, and you get to share your stories and cry and laugh.
Yeah.
The business is ruthless.
So it would be way cheaper to just get a studio yourself and actually live in it most of the time, you know, within the hours that you're allowed to be there, and go sleep on someone's couch. Even though you've got like 100 grand in the bank, you need that for like the next potential
3 years.
3 years.
Could be that
That's
you could
money to get a mortgage. I mean, if you're really smart about it, you could get a mortgage and get some lodgers, and then get.
But you've got to remember, Anne, that these people who are getting signed have never seen 100,000. A lot of people who are getting signed, and see this kind of money that hits the bank account, they don't care about the other 400,000 that's just been took off them to pay for all of the things for other people, marketing, whatever, for the managers and A&R people to take songwriters out to dinner to get songs for you. They don't even care until they've got no money left, and then they care. They go, "Oh, I owe the record label £500,000, and that means they also owe a lot of deals now are 360 deals, so it's part of your touring money as well. So they're like, "Oh, now I've got no more money now, and I've just had to pay 40% tax on that 100,000, so it's not 100,000." So yeah. So then when they realise, and then they go out and spend it all. And then they realise and go, "Okay, I'm signed now to the record deal now."
Yeah.
For the next 5-10 years.
Can I interject that?
Yeah, go on.
So if that solo artist or band or whatever set themselves up as a limited company, they'd pay less income tax than if they were a sole trader. You know, if you're expecting a big deal, then you should probably have the artist should technically be a limited company underneath the record label.
No, you just become a limited company, and that's where all your funds go.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of people don't think that. So, and a lot of the time,
the copyright would be owned by the limited company.
Well, your share of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's usually like a 70-30 split. So 70% for the record label until they've got the money back, and 30% to you. But obviously then all the producers and everything else has to be took off that. So you're getting a lot less than 30%. But it's better to have 10% of something that makes money instead of 100% of something that doesn't make money.
Definitely.
And that's a good way to look at records, because when you get there and you see all of these people that record labels are bringing on board to help you write the song, these 4 producers and the record label cut itself, and this person taking it off, and these people now that are in the charts who have literally got 5% of left of 100 from a song they wrote, because everyone's took their 95% of it, but it's on radio, so they're happy because the songs are on radio and they can live the life of a recording artist.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got, if that gave you like even 30 grand a year, you're like, okay,
More, it give you more than that.
Yeah, I know, but if it only gave you like 30 grand a year, that would ensure that you'd be able to get a mortgage.
100, but a lot of the time,
like for many people.
True, but a lot of the time, when people get there, they've never even seen 30 grand hit in the bank account before, so they don't think of getting a really good business manager or a really good accountant, where the business manager would go, "Okay, so you've been given £15,000 from a publishing company. You have to pay tax on that, obviously, and then they're going to give you £1,500 a month, right? And the minimum requirements, I think it might have changed, is where you had after handing 3 songs plus the catalogue that you signed with. Yeah, you have to hand in 3 songs a month. That's the minimum. And now you've been left with 70 grand. So now you got £85,000 now, and you're collecting £1,500 a month, and then obviously it's going to be more with shows. If they had a good accountant or a good business manager, they'd go, right, okay, we're going to put all of this away, invest half of it, and you're going to be able to live off this, this, and this. But because a lot of these people who've been signed have never seen that money, they just go and blow the whole lot. And then what you have just said about investing it and getting a mortgage and things like that, they think about that when it's all gone.
Oh,
they go, damn,
I'm gonna cry.
So then what happens is, because they've earned that kind of money, the banks will give them a loan.
So they
and then
do, yeah.
So then they owe the loan as well, because the banks have gone, oh, well. And then the record labels a lot of the time will co-sign a loan.
Okay.
For their artists.
Okay.
But that goes back, you know what I mean?
So how often would you say that this is the rule rather than is this quite common? Yeah.
What, for people to blow all the money?
Yeah. Not including obviously the people that we know were already like rock and roll stars, like, you know, Happy Mondays, for instance, or like maybe Oasis or whatever. Like rock and roll stars, you know. Apart from
Don't
them, which we all are probably thinking they're like rock and rolling it, you know, rock and roll it. You go, we know you're doing that, but I'm talking about people that we perhaps wouldn't expect, or new people in the industry, or new to like this high stakes business level in the music industry.
It happens a lot until you find, you know, a really good lawyer, a really good business manager, a really good accountant. They realise it too late, and that's why a lot of them then owe £100,000 2 years later in taxes, because they've gone out and wasted the whole money, and then they've loaned jewellery to look good on the videos, or then they've leased cars that they can't afford to pay because people expect them on social media to go, well, you've just been signed to a major label, you should have a good car. And then they go and get a mortgage they can't afford, which is £2,000 a month. The car's £2,000 a month. The jewellery's £1,000 a month. Before they know it, it's £10,000 a month to live a lifestyle that you can't afford.